Hi guys, it's Kinola here, and today we are going to be talking about why your pastries are brown outside yet they remain raw inside. So without further ado, let's just get right into the video. Now we've observed that this is one of the most common pastry problems that we usually have, especially for both fried and baked goods. There are a lot of times where you eat some snacks and then you realize that the dough looks very nice and golden brown outside, or even very brown, dark brown outside, yet the inside is uncooked. So let's quickly talk about the reasons why. Now the first reason why your pastry cooks outside yet it is uncooked inside is because of your oil. Okay, now when your oil temperature is too hot, there are tendencies that the outside is going to cook faster than the inside. Hence the reason why it is advisable that you have a controlled heat temperature when you are frying your pastry or when you are baking your pastry. Okay, your oil shouldn't be too hot, neither should it be too cold or even cold at all. It should be enough to fry your pastry. Now the second reason why your pastry is likely to be cooked outside yet it's going to be uncooked inside is because your pastry is either too thick or too big. Large buns, oversized donuts, overly thick or big cakes can actually affect the cooking time on the inside. So the best way to go about this is to ensure that your pastry is not too thick. It should be thin, it shouldn't be too thick. And one of the things we also recommend in the pastry industry is that you measure your dough. So let's use donuts as an example. If you notice, most of the recipes as regards donuts eventually has a particular measurement for each dough. So let's say someone wants to make 50 pieces of donuts. It is advisable that you measure out your dough before you leave it to rise and the likes. Okay, if the temperature is normal yet the pastry is too big or too thick, there is every tendency that it is going to be cooked outside yet it's going to stay raw inside. Another reason why your pastry is uncooked inside yet cooked outside is because of uneven shaping. All right, because of uneven shaping. Most of the times you see that, let's even use donuts as a case study. Anytime you are making your donuts and you do not cut your pieces evenly, tendencies are that when you are frying, the ones that are measured lesser can eventually get cooked on time before the other ones, right? If you're measuring one donut as 60 gram, right, per just one piece, and you measure another donut as 30 gram at just one piece, there are high chances that the one of 30 gram can eventually get cooked on time than the one of 60 gram. Hence the reason why you are supposed to balance up your shaping. When you are shaping your dough, try as much as possible to ensure that the texture is the same. You should be able to know this by checking it out with your hands. Okay, try as much as possible to see that the textures are the same. Another way to be able to get an even shape is by having a dough cutter. Okay, by having a dough cutter. Also by having a dough cutter, by using your hands. And then the last one I'm going to suggest is that you have a measuring scale. Okay, so measuring scale is important when it comes to having an even shape for your dough. I hope you're learning something. Last but not the least reason why you have a cooked dough on the outside or a cooked pastry on the outside while it remains still raw on the inside is because your pan is placed wrongly. Now usually if you have a 3-layered pan and you want to bake, because so in every oven there is the grilling part, right, and there is the baking part. Now just in case you do not know, the downside of your oven is for baking while the upside is for grilling. Don't mistake the both of them, because at the end of the day your pastry may just get wasted if you do not know this. So the downside, I repeat again, is for baking while the upside is for grilling.
So if you are using a 3-layered oven, your baking pan should be at the middle. Okay, it shouldn't be at the top part. If not, it's going to take longer to cook. it should just be at the middle, and it shouldn't be down, because the moment the heat gets too close to the pan, it gets burnt on time, or you just realize that the downside of your pan gets really cooked or even burnt, while the upside and even the middle remains raw. So you need to take note of all of these things I'm saying. If you have a 3-layered pan, it is best that you put it at the middle. But if you have maybe like a 5-layered pan, then I'll advise that you put it at the third part. Just ensure that any oven you are using, it is the middle part that you use when you want to bake. So let me just add this part, right? When your pan is overcrowded, it's going to affect the cooking time of your pastry. So try as much as possible not to allow your pan to be overcrowded, because if that happens, then you will have to now start mixing in, and you start turning the pastry from time to time, and you really do not want that. And that's another reason why you realize that some of your pastries get really dark brown, while the other ones just become surface level brown. And you also do not want that. You want everything to be fried evenly, okay? And another thing I'm going to tell you is that you should be able to give your pastry time to cook. Don't say because you are rushing, and that's why we always advise that people wake up as early as possible to start their pastry journey. If someone gives you a contract and the person tells you that they want you to make meat pie or puff puff or any pastry at all, they want you to make it and it should be delivered in the morning, let's say 10, you should wake up as early as 4 or even 3. Yes, I said it. You should wake up as early as 4 or even 3 o'clock in the morning to start making that person's product, because everything needs time. And that's why you see some people, the moment they realize that they are way behind schedule, they begin to increase their fire and all that. It's not going to help anything. If for anything, sometimes it's going to affect the output, and you don't want that. You don't want to run at a loss, and you don't want your customer dragging you on the internet or anything like that. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, so these are avoidable blunders that sometimes we make in the kitchen, and they affect the pastry industry. They affect those in the pastry industry. In conclusion, I will say that if you are going to be baking, it's okay for you to bake on 160 to 180 degrees Celsius. I'm talking about the oven now. Your oven should be at 160 to 180 degrees Celsius. That's if you're baking in an oven. This will help for the temperature to be distributed evenly in your cake or your pies and the likes. And most of the times, cakes sometimes takes 45 minutes to bake, while meat pie takes about 25 to 30 minutes to bake. So yeah, that's just another tip for you. Thank you so much for listening, and I will definitely see you in the next one. And you're welcome. Have an amazing day ahead. Bye.